Hello everyone, very good evening to all of you. Myself Sanat Kumar Swai, Assistant Professor at Vedang Institute of Technology, and in today's class we'll be discussing about the importance of audience and purpose, okay, in communication. Okay, see, in the previous class we have discussed about the communication, okay, and in today's class we'll be discussing about the importance of audience. What is the importance of audience? Who are the audience actually? Okay, and what is the purpose of our communication? Okay, so we will going through few slides, and we'll also go through few examples, and we'll try to find out the relevance in the communication strategies. Okay, nice. Okay, so communication. Communication is very much important. Okay, um, without communication, a person cannot live. Okay, be it professional, be it personal. Okay, there has to be certain communication. Yes or no? Yeah. Uh, can you survive without a communication? Yeah, you can survive. See that if you are a if you cannot speak, right? But again, there are other mediums also. Okay, it's not like only you have to use the your mouth to communicate. There are certain other ways to communicate. So see, either of the way, I would say that yes, communication is very much important. We cannot survive without communication. Okay. Now, what are the crucial elements that shape the success of any communication? Is that the audience and the purpose. Okay, so these are the most important elements which serve the purpose of any kind of communication. Whom we are going targeting, what are the audience, and what is the purpose. Okay. Now, if you're looking at the Indian context, we see again in the same thing. In the previous classes also we have discussed that we have diversity in languages. In India, you see there are a lot of languages, around 22 languages are being spoken, okay, official languages, and there are multiple dialects. Okay, culture, you see there are a lot of, I mean, various cultures are there. Okay, and various social norms are being attached to the cultures. Okay, so what happens that we these kinds of elements becomes very much important. Okay, when we are communicating. Okay, now in this particular chapter we will be exploring the significance of audience and the purpose. Okay, right. So the first one is understanding demographics. To understand the importance of audience in communication, we need to first understand the demographics. What do you mean by demographics? Demographics, what exactly do you mean? Demographics means a particular geographical location. Particular geographical location. A particular geographical area is known as demography. How many males are reside? How many males reside there? How many females reside there? How many children reside there? Okay. What is the social demography of that particular place? How many of them are literate? How many of them are illiterate? Okay. So this everything has to be taken into consideration. Okay. So while we are taking this demography, okay, the first thing is that age group. Okay. We have to consider the age group. Okay. And we have to, when we are communicating, okay, we have to look at the age group of that particular demography. Okay. And we have to make that communication according to the age group. We have to make it tailor-made. Okay. What happens is that, see, if we are talking about the, for example, teenagers, let's say, okay, if we are communicating with the teenagers, then what happens is that we have to use certain, I mean, correlated words. Correlate means contemporary words and reference are very important. Okay, that should correlate with the teenagers. Okay, it's nothing something like it has been, it is outdated. Okay, that words, that dialect, that reference which we are giving, that should correlate with the teenagers. Okay, next is cultural background. Cultural background. See, when we are, I mean, communicating with a diverse culture, so what happens that if one certain cultural group that may not resonate with other cultural group. Okay, for example, if we are creating any marketing strategy or any marketing campaign in Orissa, okay, that may not be same in other state. Okay, that may be different. Maybe for example, Odisha and Rajasthan, they that may be totally different. Okay, so there's a vast difference in the cultural background. For example, that can be with any demography or any state. Okay, next, language and dialects. Okay, as I have already said, India has 22 officially recognized languages. You see, 22 officially recognized languages, and there are a lot of dialects which people speak. Okay, those are not official languages. Okay, local languages are also there. Okay, so to understand, okay, and uh, and accept, enhancing understanding and acceptance becomes very much critical. Okay, and very much important. Okay, you see, the political speeches which are being given, okay, they're normally given in regional languages. Okay, that may be official language or that may not be official language, but normally those are being delivered in the regional language. Why? To have a better connectivity with the local population. Yes. Okay, so language and dialects are important. Next is educational background. Okay, education background. See, you say something and the person in front of you, they are unable to understand, so that becomes meaningless. Okay, you say something technically, you give a speech and that technical speech has been not understood by the audience in front of you. So what happens is that you need to understand their background, their educational background, whether they are going to adapt or whether they are going to understand your speech or not. Okay, so simplifying the certain jargon means, what do you mean by jargon? Jargon means something, I mean, in a technical way we can say, or which has been focusing on a particular target. Okay, technical words in the sense, or that may be the some sentence or words which is meant for some particular person. Okay, so what happens is that creates, I mean, that prevents misunderstandings. Okay, now for example, if you take health campus in rural areas often use visual aids and simple language to convey. So see, if you are if we are organizing any health camp or health campaign in any rural or remote area, so the technical terms or the medical terms, the people over there, they are not able to understand those, they cannot understand. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to use the visual aids. Okay, or you can use very simple languages. Okay, very simple languages according to them, I mean, so that they will be able to understand those languages. Okay, in their local languages. Okay, that is very important. We need to understand what is their educational background, and accordingly the message should be passed. Okay, socio-economic status. Now, socio-economic status is also very much important. See, because we want to deliver something, we want to pass our communication. Now the socio-economic status, they of a particular person or a particular area, that influences their priorities and concerns. Okay, for example, there's a bullet train which pass on from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. How am I going to get the benefit out of it? Because my socio-economic status doesn't permit me to travel in a local train even. And how a bullet train is going to influence my priority and concern? See, what I mean to say is the socio-economic status of the audience becomes very much importance. We need to understand their socio-economic status, because that only influences their priorities and concern. If we are going to press something, that is not going to help, because they have got their set priorities, they have got their set concerns, and they have to adhere to that, they have to understand that. Okay, so understanding this can help in addressing the specific needs effectively. So what exactly is the need of the population, we need to understand through socio-economic status of the population. Okay. So for example, let's say financial literacy programs for low income groups focus on basic savings and investment. See, If you want to have a financial literacy program for a particular location, geographical location. So what we need to do is that we need to train them on the basic training and investment techniques. You need to save some money, okay? You need to have a bank account, okay? You need to invest on a FDs, okay? Or you need to invest on a RDs, okay? Then only they will be able to understand. But rather than if you are going to use various complex financial criteria, like you can use in mutual funds, you can I mean equity, debt fund, blah blah, these things. So they are not going to understand that because their socio-economic status doesn't allow them. Okay, their needs are different, their priorities are different, their concerns are different. Okay, so we have to focus on that. Okay, and that can be done through their socio-economic status. Okay, next, importance of purpose in communication. Okay, so what is the importance of purpose in communication? Okay, the first one is clarity of objective. Okay, what is the clarity? I mean, what is the objective? We have to be very much clear. Okay, see, uh, when we are communicating, okay, what is our objective? Whether we are just want to inform them, just an informative, or maybe we want to persuade them, okay, maybe we want to entertain them or educate them, okay. So we have to be very much clear about our objective. Then only that message can be passed on in a much clearer way, so that there is no confusion at all. Okay, for example, a public service announcement on traffic rules aims to inform and educate. Thus that should be direct and clear. So if you want to educate the masses about the traffic rule, okay, then that should be extremely clear and direct, right? So the clarity of objective should be very much clear. Crafting the message, yes, as we have already discussed, okay, we have to craft the message in a much better way. Okay, that can be effective. Okay, what message we are passing on. Okay, for example, if that is a persuasive communication, then emphasizing benefits and using emotional appeals can be effective. So if you want to persuade somebody, then we have to emphasize on the benefits and emotional appeals of that particular message. Okay, for example, like advertisement for eco-friendly products often highlight the environmental benefits. So we are going to showcase there the environmental benefits to persuade the customers. Okay, so the crafting the message becomes very much important. Next, selecting the medium. Okay, now what is the medium? How we are going to communicate? Whether through phone calls, whether through social medias, whether through newspapers, whether through SMS alerts, okay, whatsoever. So these kinds of, the medium should be very much important, okay, what medium we are choosing, okay. For example, during natural disaster, the government uses the social media, normally social media through television, radios, and with the other social medias to disseminate the information, okay. So selecting the mediums also it becomes very much important in the communication process. Now, feedback mechanism. After all this, we need to have a feedback mechanism that where we have to do any kind of adjustment, if any kind of suggestions, okay, is or feedback are extremely important. Okay, you see, at the end of something, there is always a feedback. Okay, we need to rectify ourselves. We need to make certain changes in ourselves. Okay, so feedback mechanism also plays a very important role. Okay, for example, customer feedback forms after service interaction help the businesses to improve their offerings, what they're going to offer, and that in the future as well. Okay, right. So with this, we have come to the end of the slide. Okay, so with in conclusion, okay, what we have learned so far is that in the diverse and dynamic Indian context, understanding the audience and purpose of communication is paramount. Definitely, in the Indian context, if you see that the audience and purpose of communication is very much important. Okay, whom we are targeting, what we are targeting, why we are targeting, and what we are targeting. Okay, so that becomes very much important. Next, it ensures that messages are not only heard but also understood and acted upon. So see, when there's a when we are going to pass the message, it is not only that people are going to hear, Okay, but they need to understand what the message is all about, and they need to act on that message as well. Then only we can ensure that yes, that the message has been passed on in a much better way. Okay, next, whether in marketing, education, or public service, tailoring communication to fit the audience and aligning with a clear purpose. See, we need to have a very much clear purpose. What we are doing, why we are doing, whether we are doing a marketing, in education or in a public service, what kind of communication we are doing. Okay, that should be tailor fit. That should suit. That should fit the communication with the audience. Okay, and what purpose it is going to serve, that is very much important. Okay. Next, as India continues to grow and evolve, mastering these elements, communication will be, see, as I've already said, India is a very dynamic and very um, you know very vast cultural landscape. Okay, so these kinds of communication, okay, if we are using targeting the proper audience and target and the purpose of the communication, if we are understanding in a proper way, then only we can say that that will be much effective. Okay, and we can get success in the long run. Okay, right. So with this, we have come to the conclusion. I believe you have all understood about the importance of audience and the purpose in the communication process. However, if you have any doubt, you can please jot down your doubts, and we'll be more than happy to clear off your doubts. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Yeah.